We're live in the bunker with a presidential debate special episode of
The Apocalypse Bros.
And welcome back to another episode of The Apocalypse Bros. As we all know, the elections are on their way, and if you haven't been reminded enough, here's one more for you.
Are you registered to vote?
Wrong.
Who could that be, I wonder?
That is one of our presidential candidates, which we will get to. In fact, we're going to introduce him right now. So again, as you know, the presidential debates are coming up. The Sanitation Union is looking for a new leader that will be running the majority of the wasteland, the civilized wasteland at the very least.
Yes, the only wasteland that really has any rules.
That's right. The wasteland outside of that is not governed by the Sanitation Union.
Everything else is more
also really
guidelines.
Not governed at all. Yeah, exactly. It's guidelines. It's all guidelines. So we will be holding the first ever presidential debates over a podcast, as far as I ever knew existed.
Yeah.
And so hopefully this will help you decide who you will be voting for in this upcoming election, who will be taking over the post-apocalyptic wasteland as we know it. So, without further ado, we're going to intro some of our guests, or not guests, but candidates.
Better put me last.
Okay, we will put you last. That's fine. All right, Sly, introduce us to who we have here.
All right. Well, we have 4 different candidates representing 4 different parties. Mm-hmm. We have decided to get rid of the prehistoric, extinct system of just a 2-party system. And we have actually 4-party representative. We generally try to represent as many parties as we can, and these are the 4 that really had enough of a following to at least be represented here at our official post-apocalyptic presidential debates. So, party number 1 representing is Lizzy Lizard. She would be representing the Raiders' Rights Party. That's right, the Lizzy Lizard from last season's finale when we talked about on the dating show. She didn't win, but she tried, sort of.
She tried to get a date.
She did.
She did not.
So she decided to go out and join the Raiders. And now she's representing the Raiders' Rights Party.
She didn't go out with our candidate, but she did go out with the Raiders.
Yes, she did. Yeah, so we have also representing the Sanitation Union Party, we have Maskin Robbins.
Yes, here I am. I'm back. I'm pleased to be heading up this brand new political campaign, and I am masking you to vote for me.
Bigot.
Thank you, Maskin Robbins.
Bigot.
And then also we have our residential conspiracy dude.
I said go last.
Okay, never mind. We don't have him yet. We have Katherine Kowbell representing the Free Trade Party. That's right, Katherine Kowbell.
Yes, I'm Katherine Kowbell.
As we know, she runs her own business, knowing about just creating different things, designing and everything. If you need a mask design, she's your person. If you need pretty much any sort of material design, that's who you want to go to there.
And soon, possibly, if you need a law passed, you might be going to her. Who knows?
That's very true.
On the election.
It's going to happen.
And she is representing the Free Trade Party once again. All right, and then last but definitely not least,
a good friend of the show.
A good friend of the show and of the Sanitation Union is Rusty Buckets, our residential conspiracist.
Yeah, I just want to say, my opponent's here all week. You got one who couldn't find one man, so 20. You got one that ran a business into the ground, multiple. And I don't even know who this person is next to me. I kind of feel offended that I'm not on my own bench. I just want to say I'm glad to be here at another. I'm glad that I actually got this opportunity. I'm surprised you actually gave it to me. Being moderated by, the Sanitation Union and me being very much against them and the media all being Sanitation Union.
Of course.
So I very much appreciate my time.
Thank you, Mr. Buckets.
Yeah, whatever.
So yes, of course, Rusty Buckets is representing the conspiracy party.
He was released from imprisonment, from what I'm told, specifically to run in this election.
Yes,
I do have to say thank you for the package. I did get it, the magazines.
Oh, excellent. Yes, you got the care package.
And I did get the sausage that you sent too. I do appreciate it. I'm not sure what it was made of, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, it was whatever we could put together.
That's right.
You never ask how the sausage is made, as they say.
Right.
So we are going to ask some different questions, give them some different topics to talk on. So you guys all out there in the apocalypse wasteland can kind of have an idea of what they stand for, or at least what they tell you they stand for, and getting a better idea of who to vote for that really represents what you feel needs to be done in the apocalypse. We know we're in very trying times during the Coronapocalypse, and we want to make sure that we have the best leadership possible. So we hope that we give that to you tonight.
That's right. That's right. We want to help you guys know who to vote for. We're not going to tell you. We're going to let you think for yourselves, but we're going to offer whatever answers and resources we can in order to do so. Definitely check out our Facebook page after you've listened to this episode, because we should have a poll up for you to vote. That's how we're doing it in the post-apocalyptic world, through Facebook.
And our polls are actually reliable.
All right. So we're going to start off with the topic that is on everyone's mind. We're all thinking about it. We're all wondering, what are we going to do about these Rona roamers? These Rona roamers that have been walking around attacking people, eating people supposedly, biting people at the very least. I mean, they're just causing all kinds of trouble and mayhem. So, candidates, should Rona roamers be subject to the same rights as other survivors? Lizzy Lizard, what do you have to say on that topic?
I'll tell you what I got to say.
Oh.
All right, Rusty.
All right, Rusty, you go ahead.
Mr. Buckets.
Here's the deal. You guys, the Sanitation Union, I saw my opponent over there had a lack of words. Can you not hit me in the face with a microphone, please, sir?
Apologies.
You guys, the Sanitation Union yourself, you guys put out these Rona roamers to control, the population. So the fact that you say, what do we do about them, is humorous, because you guys are the ones that put them out there. First of all, we need to take down the Sanitation Union. My first, on day one, I will sign a bill that declares the Sanitation Union a terrorist organization. And we will be taking all the Rona roamers out. And you guys will be thrown in jail. But I actually kind of like you too, so if you guys want to change and become part of the party, I understand it. And yeah, if you don't vote for me, you're going to hell. Thank you.
And Maskin, Robbins, do you have a response to that with all the negative feelings that Rusty Buckets obviously has towards the Sanitation Union? What are your thoughts on Rona roamers and also those thoughts?
Yes, your response.
Yes, as the chosen candidate for the sanitation department, I would just like to request that we keep this a very clean discussion. I do my best to keep our area clean, and so if we could avoid the name calling and the negative comments, that would
Loser.
make like that one. Yes. Well, see, these Rona roamers, they terrify me. We try to keep things nice and tidy around the area, and these decaying bodies. There's nothing nice and clean and healthy about decay. I don't think any one of you would admit the opposite. And so, the other day I was super hungry because I hadn't eaten for a while. And as I was wandering around, I told a guy, I haven't had a bite in days. And he said, well, I've got some Rona roamers that I could let bite you. And that's not what I meant. So those guys, they guys and gals, excuse me, they terrify me. And so what would I do? I would get rid of those Rona roamers. I would get them as far out of town as I could. And that way they're not bothering me and they're not bothering you.
So it seems like you would keep them alive, but remove them from society's danger.
Right, I would keep them living or non-living, undead, whatever they.
Terrible choice.
Well, they should have their own rights. Yes, different rights than the ones that we have, but they still have the right to live or not live or whatever they do.
All right, fair enough. That's a little bit of a contrast to Rusty, obviously. So
Definitely.
moving on. Lizzy, are you prepared to give a response to this? What are your thoughts on what we should do with the Rona roamers, and what rights do you believe that they might have?
I just say we leave them be. They shouldn't have the same rights as we do, because they don't really have the same thought process as we do. But I don't see anything wrong with letting them roam around doing their own thing, living their life. We definitely can set up precautions to take care of ourselves and make sure that, we stay safe from them, but I don't see a problem with having them wander around.
So you don't think them wandering around is an endanger to society?
Not if you take your precautions.
Well said by the Raiders that are definitely very combat oriented.
It's very
after
true.
all. They
right now are keeping all the Rona okay. Whatever.
It's very true. Coming from the Raider party, that's I guess the suspected and expected
Right.
answer.
Yeah, definitely. They know their defenses. So
It's very true.
Katherine Kowbell, do you have any response to the question about Rona Romer's rights and the precautions we should or should not take?
Well, I don't really care. So, I say when they die in front of my store, I can just pick them up and use their bones for using some DIYs in my store and sell those for decorations and such. So I'm not a fan of the DK. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disappoint you. I forgot your name.
Maskin.
Oh,
sorry.
Maskin Robbins.
Lawsuit.
That's
Yep.
confusing. I'm so sorry.
I'm working on writing that lawsuit up as we speak.
Okay. Well, so yeah. I just think they aren't really, I mean, yeah, like Lizzy said, if you take your precautions.
Your precautions.
I guess I'm not really surprised when we have the Raiders and the Free Trade Party kind of agreeing on that because they're both kind of like anti-government involvement.
Right. That makes sense.
They're
And
kind of in agreement.
I think that gives us a good summary on just about everybody's feelings on Rona Romers in general. Again, I feel like most people are kind of asking just what are we going to do with them? So we have some that would say drive them out, some that would say kill them all, some that would say, just don't worry about it. So
Well, I mean, their names are Rona Roamers. Let them just roam.
let them roam.
But at a safe distance from the rest of us.
Well, I'm not saying they need to live with us and sleep in our beds, but like, let them just
This
be.
is what you guys are
Lock
gonna
your
deal with. All you
doors,
guys
lock
are
your
going, this is
gates.
what
You
guys
just
are gonna
need
do.
to shut
all
your
right.
mouth.
Rusty,
be
Mr.
quiet.
Mr. Buckets,
Mr. Buckets.
please. Can we have
Not
some
enough to
order?
talk.
Your time is up, Mr. Buckets.
Yeah, just let me say this one thing.
No more things.
We all got equal time here.
You've gotten way more
let's
than all of
move
us.
on to the next topic.
We do have
and
one-
see what
we do have
people think
another
about
question.
I'm
that.
successful. And who are you? You just came out of prison and you're just on this bench. Like, get out of here.
I think that's pretty well settled on our Rona Romer topic.
Yeah, I agree. I
think we've covered
answered
everything.
it well.
Let's talk Raiders. Now, obviously, Lizzy Lizard is going to have something to say about this. I'm sure others. I'm curious to find out what how they kind of feel. So, raiding groups have demanded that they be seen as a legitimate, almost a business,
Right.
With stealing and pillaging and general rabble rousing, basically, is their business model.
Right.
What are your guys' thoughts on these demands, and what would you implement based on them? Should they be viewed this way by the governing body, or should they be considered criminals? Lizzy Lizard obviously has something to say on this topic.
I'll wait to debate.
Oh, she's gonna
That's fair.
pass again.
Let's save her.
All
Let's
right.
save her for the last. We can have her respond to other people's.
That's true.
I think
especially with
the
this topic.
I think the biggest one I'm interested to hear from is Maskin Robbins. See what the Sanitation Union party has to say about these raiders.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I do an honest day's work, day by day by day.
Lying, cheating, stealing.
Well,
Mr. Buckets, please let's not interrupt her.
my personal stance is if I have to work every single day, day in and day out, to earn my living, I'm sorry, I'm just very flustered by this man who's sharing this bench with me, and we are not distanced even close to 6 feet. So whoever set this up was definitely not someone on the sanitation.
Remember, we do have many air purifiers here in the bunker going off to sanitize the air all around us.
How many did you set up?
I believe, what was it, 42 that we had in the entire bunker?
They only showed me 18, but I'm sure there were more than that.
Oh,
By
yes.
my count, I see 27, which means there are raiders among us right now as we speak, and they have taken our clean air.
It's possible.
That's and frankly, I don't have a lot of items that I own. I'm not
Where's this going?
I'm not a man of. See, they've stolen my words as well. I'm not a man of great wealth, and I work hard
That's
each
obviously
day
seen.
There are only 3 holes in my shirt, one for my head and one for each of my arms.
Oh.
And
That's above average.
oh, thank you. I shop locally. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that if I
Katherine
have
Kowbell, thanks
an
you.
honest living, then they should too. They should stop stealing from my little and work hard themselves.
Fair enough. All right. Katherine, as a business owner, I'm sure there's some feelings that you might have towards these raiders.
Buckets, be quiet. I also agree
Don't
with
say
that
anything
sort
dumb, I
of.
won't have to say anything.
Okay,
All right,
so just
Mr.
shut
Buckets.
your mouth. Well, if she's stealing, I mean, if the raiders are stealing from other people, as long as they're putting it into my business, then I don't really care what they do.
That is interesting because you do cater to a lot of raiders, as I
Very true.
have to understand, with the mask and the branding. and stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
Raider cater.
Yes, I am a raider
That's the
cater.
one intelligent thing this guy said this whole time.
I've been holding on to that one for several minutes now.
It took you that long to come up with it.
All right, Catherine, go ahead.
I don't know. This buckets guy got to go. The raiders. I don't know.
You really just feel like they can just go on about their own business, right? As long as they aren't.
As long as they're not offending me and affecting me, and yeah, and
What
as
about
long
Miss
as they're
Susie
pouring,
down the street?
I'm talking. As long as they're pouring their money into my business and helping me out, then I'm okay with that. Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
what about I'll take over. What about Miss Susie down the street who you ran out of business a couple weeks ago? Her one cupcake factory has shown. You know, I like to go get a cupcake from now and then. And look at me, and you know what? And
I looked at you,
and now you ran.
and
him
I
out-
think
you,
that
you ran
running
him
that
out-
cupcake business out of business is probably your best idea as a diet. No more cupcakes for you unless you make them your own.
What about the gun shop next door that you ran out of business and you put a pottery barn in there?
I don't know.
Who wants to go to a pottery barn?
Apparently everybody who
wants to go
goes
to
into my
pottery-
pottery
Okay,
barn.
so I actually pulled up some statistics here.
Okay.
that show
Anthony
that
has
the,
a nice Voss from there.
Yes.
true.
I made a special order for him.
Please don't interrupt me. I wouldn't do the same to you.
Okay.
So here, basically, the Raider Party. I've looked into your financial situation, and you're broke. You're broke. Now, I see dealings with the Sanitation Union. I see a bunch of dealings with the Raiders. You yourself are actually in debt to the tune of 2,000 credits a day, and basically, you're being funded by the Raider Party. Which let me get to the Raider Party here. Basically, they're taking over this great wasteland that I love so much, and I don't remember it being a crime to love this wasteland that I live
I
in.
never said it was a crime.
I didn't say you did.
Rusty, we are reaching the end of your speaking
I
time.
haven't even had time to talk yet.
That's all you've been doing since we've been on air.
I disagree.
We still need to get to Lizzy Lizard.
15 seconds to finish up your thought, please.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so basically,
One.
you're gonna have to knock that off over there. I want equal time. I want my 15 seconds.
All right,
Give
all
me
right,
equal time.
go
15
ahead.
seconds.
Yeah, basically the Raider Party coming in trying to take over this great country that I love. I'm sorry, guys.
You need a tissue.
Basically, yeah. You know what? Somebody actually cares for this wasteland.
I make
that we-
tissue.
That's fine. We actually
You know, I
carry
wasn't-
Katherine Kowbell branded tissues. So
Yes,
here you
and
go.
they are great quality. Let
Could
me
I
tell you.
please use one?
Three
He's
ply.
cried all over this microphone, and we are sharing a microphone.
That is not social distancing.
Yeah,
I'm
much
not.
to my point.
This country is under attack. There's this wasteland, whatever you want to call it. I want this to be a country again, and I'm the one to lead us to it. And you all know that's true.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bucket.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Bucket.
but
right.
one more thing. One more thing.
we need to- we still need to-
Quickly. Very quickly.
Oh, I didn't actually think you'd give me the time. I wasn't actually prepared.
Okay. All right.
Lizzy
Moving
Lizard,
on.
your thoughts on the Raider
Do you-
rights? Obviously, you have plenty to say about
Do
this.
you have a rebuttal?
Yes. So I heard from Maskin Robbins that we don't make an honest living and we don't work hard. I would agree to disagree with that because we work hard pillaging for our food, foraging for it, and providing for those that we care about. I'd say it's pretty hard work.
Yeah,
We
well, I
might
care
work
about my
differently
family
than
that you
you,
killed.
but we don't kill people. Sorry about that misinformation for you. And
Wrong.
back to you about, Raiders taking over this great wasteland. Maybe I would agree with that, but we do
She's
care
admitting
about
it,
this
folks.
great
She is
wasteland,
admitting it.
and we are trying to make it fair for everyone. Not everyone has the same, accessibilities that you guys have working in Sanitation Union and other places. So some of us have to work hard and forage for our food, and find it in different ways than might be more useful for you guys.
Kind of sounds like what you're saying is if you're not tough enough to protect yourself, you don't deserve it.
Basically, we're living in an apocalyptic time.
Interesting. Well, quick follow-up question. We'll start with you, Lizzy, since it mainly it's about you guys. Should raiders and other groupings be able to establish their own smaller government bodies separate from that of a major governing body for which you are all trying to get elected.
I don't see why not.
What was the question?
Should you be able to, basically, should raiders and other groupings, cults, religious things, be able to establish their own smaller government bodies? Basically, that are separate from the large
The one that you are running for.
Right, the
Be
presidential.
in control of.
Times are changing, and we all
Yeah, I'd
live
like to
very
take this
different
over.
lives. And
She's had a lot of time to talk.
Well, we just asked her another question, Rusty.
Say
So, yes, Maskin Robbins, you have a different take on this. Do you believe that the raiders and other groupings should be able to establish their own smaller government bodies separate from the major governing body for which you're trying to get elected?
Well, I think if they want to do things their own way, they should pack up and move out of town. They can go live with the Rona Roamers for all I care. They seem to be getting along quite well with one another, taking over this beautiful wasteland. They're making.
See, I actually agree with that there. I'm going to go ahead and take over.
Mr. Buckets, Mr. Buckets, it's his turn.
We just need to.
I need to go in.
We have very time for Mr. Buckets.
Maskin Robbins.
You know what?
Turn to speak.
Buckets, if you're not going to listen, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have you leave.
Yeah, I figured that was coming.
Yeah.
We're just gonna. You know what? Are you gonna walk out? We're gonna have to have
Give
you.
me another chance. I'll be good.
All right.
All right, you go ahead and finish.
Well, yes, as I was saying, you see, you mentioned earlier that you have honest living, and if we are not strong enough to fight against it, then we should just accept it. Well, when am I at home to fight against it? Because the answer to that is I'm not, because I'm working all the time to try to make my wages.
Sounds like you're complaining.
All right,
Mr.
I'm-
Buckets. Mr.
I'm-
Buckets.
Right.
I'm not at home to defend or protect myself or my assets, but I spelled it the way you pronounced it. Yes, I pronounced it also the way you spelled it, which is what I intended to say. But I'm just so flustered. I just think that if the raiders are going to continue to raid in this area that I care and love so much, then they can move on and find a new area to raid.
All right, Katherine Kowbell.
kidding me?
Do we have representing the Free Trade Party? What do you believe about the raiders being able to have their own government bodies?
I say let them do it. I don't really. I mean, of course, yeah. That's why I said it.
Please, Mr. Buckets.
I mean, if everybody's so butthurt about the Raiders, like, let them just be on their own.
Yeah, I'd like to bring back an old saying.
Of course, you would like to bring back something.
Yes, Mr. Buckets.
Yeah, united we stand, divided we fall. So I actually agree with this schmuck to my right. However, I would take it a step further, and I would go a little bit. I would definitely take out the raiders who are destroying this great wasteland. I want to take over this country back. And, it starts here with the Sanitation Union, who are for the Rona Roamers. Again, he says he's not, but you guys are for the Rona Roamers. You guys are in control of the Rona Roamers. And I just, it starts here with the disrespect of being shown in this debate. I want equal time, and I want, everybody else is talking over me. I feel wronged. Yeah,
I believe you're talking over everyone
I
else.
have not once. Name a time.
Every
You
time.
can't. Exactly.
Every question.
Every of the
Yeah, you
time.
can't name a
I-
specific
every
one.
of
I
the time.
believe you've got your prepositions mixed up. I believe you meant to say that we are talking under
You
you.
just interrupt me. Look at this. I just said what was happening. Look, I get interrupted. This happens again.
All right, Mr. Buckets. Looks like you're out of time to answer
Of course
that
I am.
question.
Yeah, and I'm not getting.
Why don't we
equal
go
time.
ahead
You know
and
what?
move
I'm not
on.
getting
Mr.
equal time.
Buck-
You know what?
okay.
I'm not getting equal
Mr.
time.
Buckets.
All right,
Hey,
Jerry,
I'm not getting, no,
Steve,
no,
get in
no,
here.
No.
All right.
Please
we're gonna
remove
have to
Mr.
have
Buckets.
Mr. Buckets
Come on.
removed from the
Escort him out, Mr.
No,
Buckets.
Get him out of here.
no.
Yeah, come on, get out of here, man. You gotta get out.
Thank you, Jerry.
No.
Overstayed your
All right.
welcome.
I am sorry, listeners,
Don't
for all
let
you
the
out
door
there.
hit you on the way out.
Oh my
Oh, I
goodness.
do. I don't
wow.
mind.
Okay. All right.
He
Let's.
did fill out the proper paperwork, so he will remain a
Learn
candidate.
how to make your own cupcake.
All right. Let's
He will
all.
remain a candidate within the elections. You can still vote for him. Just unfortunately,
Just don't
because
do
of
it.
tonight, we will be unable to hear any more opinions that he has to offer. On
I
any of the other
apologize to our listeners out
topics and
there.
questions.
Perimeter is secure.
Hopefully, we will have. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Jerry, you as well. Tell the wife hello. We'll be over for potluck next week.
That's right.
All right.
Very nice.
So I just want to once again apologize to all the listeners out there for having trouble hearing everyone with just Rusty Buckets being the way he was. I do apologize, and I hope that we can have a fair debate for the rest of the time. I really once again apologize and just hope that we all do well in the rest of the debate here. So.
That's right.
I mean, who would have saw this coming?
Are you going to
roughly?
apologize to us?
It's
I
unfortunate.
also apologize to all our candidates.
Yes.
We did try to corral Mr. Buckets as well we could with having his views represented. We don't want to, have only one. We don't want to have only certain views represented. We want to make sure everyone, no matter how crazy or outlandish they may seem.
And is receiving the right amount of time. So.
Exactly. So
So we're going to move on to the next topic. We're just going to keep things going because, again, the election doesn't stop.
election don't stop.
Election don't stop. I feel like there's a song there. I don't know.
Don't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop.
Moving on to another topic that we've actually discussed on our podcast before, Apocalypse Rose. If you haven't heard of it, you obviously haven't heard of it because you're listening to it. Thank you.
I thought that guy left. did he still? How's he doing this?
He is possibly hacked the system. We'll
Hacker
see.
man.
Whatever the case, couriers. Now, we all know that we have kind of this
Courier.
delivery system that's kind of going on in the apocalypse, but it's not really officialized in any sort of way. It's not like the postal service we used to have exactly, but kind of. It's-
We did have a messenger boy on our
Yes,
podcast.
yeah,
at one point.
and he's still somewhere out there today delivering mail by horse or whatever scooter. I think he mentioned scooters at one point. Whatever the case, should this courier system be otherwise enveloped by the Sanitation Union and funded through such, or should they remain as they currently are as an independent delivery system? Thoughts? Maskin Robbins.
So you're saying potentially the sanitation department would be, I don't know, receiving yet another duty to take care of for everyone else in this wasteland. Well, I think that the couriers are doing a bang-up job at what they're responsible for, and if that were to fall onto the hands of the sanitation department, then I frankly would have way too much to do, and I would never be able to go to my home and try to protect all of the things that might still be left there when I get back this evening.
To your assets.
Yes, my assets. My really, I don't have huge assets.
Just standard size
my-
assets.
Yes, just I would say average sized assets.
Right.
And I want them to remain. I've worked hard. I've worked my assets off to provide for myself. And I'd like to keep it that way.
Well, sure. Okay. All right. Well, so essentially, the Sanitation Union does not want the responsibility of an additional, which is understandable. Keep it a private organization. Katherine, I'm sure that with your business, you probably are sending things out by delivery, receiving things by delivery. What are your thoughts on how you feel this organization should be run?
Well, as of lately, I really feel like they're doing a great job. My stuff gets delivered on time. People's orders get delivered on time. So, I mean, why have someone else digging in their stuff? It doesn't need to be there.
Sure. All right. Lizzy Lizard, do you have anything that how do the Raiders feel about these messengers and these couriers?
We have our own messaging system. We live in a world where we either have to fight to survive or you don't make it very far. You can't always trust your messages with other people's hands, so we do our own thing to try and, get our messages delivered in a timely and secure manner.
So if you were elected for this position to take over, would you want to kind of take over this delivery system, or would you just leave them to be their own organization? Or, hey, even a third option, maybe have them removed entirely?
Honestly, I don't see the need of, a delivery system being funded by other people. The Raiders have made it work. If you want to learn a thing or two, we could definitely show you. Other than that, I don't know.
All right. Well, it kind of more or less sounds like everybody's kind of in agreement as far as this particular topic. It sounds like nobody wants to take it in as a government entity. So it sounds like the courier system, no matter who you choose, will probably, well, I guess we didn't hear our conspiracy theorist thoughts. I'm sure he has something interesting to say on it.
We can only imagine.
You might just have to find him on social media or some other through the message boards or by delivery. He might send you mail.
He sort of pops up unexpectedly. Sometimes.
Yeah. So, but it sounds like for the most part, whatever the case, the courier system will remain privatized.
Now, I do have a follow-up question that might change some of our candidates' views. If they remain independent, should they receive any tax decrease due to the service they offer? Lizzy, do you have a thought on if they should on that question?
Yes, I think that there should be a tax deduction. You know, we're all trying to make ends meet and trying to survive. We don't have enough funds to, just give willy-nilly out to the courier system.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Katherine Kowbell?
I don't need to be giving them any money. I make my money hard, and I work hard, and they don't need to have any more of my money.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
What do you think, Maskin? Should they have tax decreases?
I believe we should decrease their taxes. They are doing us a great service. You know, they are some of the hardest working individuals in our wasteland society, and I think they should be rewarded for all of the service that they're doing. Not to mention any other names or organizations, but there might be other organizations around this area who are not doing anything to benefit or better the lives of anyone else. They just seem to be, what's a synonym for the word rating? Helping themselves to things that other people have and have worked hard for.
It's a large synonym.
That is a large
Correct. It's estrogen is synonymical.
It's almost like chrysanthemum.
Yes. And other difficult words. You see, I think that there might be groups that should be able to pick up the same percentage of taxation than that would be given to the couriers, but are not doing a whole lot to benefit society. So if we kind of restructure the balance of the percentage, then we won't be losing any of that taxation. It will just be placed upon a separate entity.
Sure. Investing, pretty much. All right.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so definitely a couple different views going on as far as whether or not, or the same view on who should own this organization, or rather not own this organization, but definitely a couple different views on how it should be handled and whether or not they should receive some funding or not. So.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear the taxation when knowing that it's going to come out of their party's pockets.
Exactly. Now, vehicles. Not very many people have them. We're kind of working on developing new types, electrical, I guess, sometimes even.
Yeah.
Not so much running on gas, just because it's hard to find gas.
Yeah,
and
solar panels are much
solar
more of an
panels,
option at this point.
go-karts, practically. But whatever the case, there are a few out there
Ring, ding, ding,
being
ding,
driven
ding, ding,
around,
ding, ding.
off-roaded, onto the worn-out streets of the post-apocalypse we live in. So our question is, even though there are still working vehicles out there, there's really no regulation on these vehicles anymore. You don't have to go in and get your license. You don't have to take your
Driver's education.
ed. Yeah, driver's ed. We don't do that anymore. Things like that. So there's no rules of the road. You don't have to stop for stoplights anymore, or stop signs, since lights pretty much don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, should we start re-instigating these various rules and regulations of the road? Should we be limited by these? Should we not be limited by these? The only person that I could see that really has, as far as candidates go, that has any opinion on this would be Lizzy Lizard. I know sometimes the Raiders have these vehicles. They use them in their raiding parties. They use them to haul stuff to and from, and people, no less. So what are your thoughts on whether or not we should start reintegrating rules on whether or how we can drive, who should drive, etc.?
I don't think it's necessary. I've been to, back before the whole post-apocalyptic thing, I've been to a few different third world countries, and they don't have that many rules and regulations on the road, and they manage to do just fine. So I think that if we, us Raiders, we take care of our family, and as long as we're teaching our kids and the future generation how to drive correctly, I don't see why we have to make a big deal about driver's education courses.
Now, Katherine, you, I believe, have a delivery system potentially from your business?
Right, I do.
So what are your thoughts on the potential? And I suppose this could also apply to horses as well. I guess I didn't think about that.
Well, before the
Even large dogs.
Coronapocalypse, I was a CDL driver, commercial driver.
Oh.
So I drove big truck vehicles, your semi-trucks, your trailers, tractor-trailer combination vehicles. And they had a lot of regulations on weight. which a lot of people try to skirt because you could take more, obviously. You didn't have to worry
So
about
like
weight.
buckets couldn't drive.
Yes, buckets. Wow. Okay. Wow. Just throwing out bombs. My goodness. All right. So, but they did have 80,000 pounds on most U.S. highways was the thing. Now, since then, we haven't wasted the energy on weight scales and stuff. So, would you be in favor of putting back in those scales as far as putting in the weight scales, or would you rather just have it be unregulated and carry as much as you want wherever you want?
Well, I do find that if you don't have the weight system working, then yes, I can get more product in that vehicle, but I also notice that my vehicles wear out faster. So I believe that the weight system would be helpful and it would keep my drivers safer and my vehicles around longer, which then gives me more money.
No.
So I do believe it is necessary.
Now, SOS, I am surprised by that from the Free Trade Party. I don't know if you are.
I mean, it does make sense.
Did I
I
give the
guess
wrong answer?
no, it's not the wrong answer at all. I mean, this is how you feel about it, and honestly, it's definitely the views of in some opinions, a responsible business owner who wants to see.
Sure, you want to make sure your stuff goes the same way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
absolutely.
work hard for my money, and I want my money to last as long as it can last.
That's fair.
Understandable.
Where we are in this time.
Now, of course, we're not biased.
Right.
So,
Although
how
I
you
know-
feel about how
I know.
you
I guess you are a smaller business. I know large corporations.
My business
really,
is very large, please.
Okay.
she is expanding. She's got a
That's
pottery.
true.
I have a
Yeah.
pottery. That was news to me.
Large corporations on the same scale as the Sanitation Union. No offense, Sanitation Union. Are more really about getting stuff as fast as they can to a certain place. So
Of toilet
that's the only reason I was surprised. But you're a
Right,
smaller
but-
business, which makes sense. You have to be more careful
Yes,
with
so
your coin.
if my driver has too much weight, then the car could break down, which means my people are not getting their product as fast as they could be getting.
That's very
Sounds
true.
like
You know,
you need thinner drivers.
We do need thinner drivers, no more buckets. So that's
more
my
rust.
thoughts on that.
All right,
Literally
all right.
rust on
And
trucks.
so I guess we can transition that into how the Sanitation Union feels about this.
Right. What do you
concept.
feel like on the regulations on the roads and vehicles?
I will say that Miss Kowbell is not the only person whose business is booming, especially if we do not regulate those weight limits. You see, as the more heavy trucks and cars and recreational vehicles, as
And
it were,
people.
and people were continuing down our roads, the heavier the vehicle, the more is falling off of it, which means guess who gets to clean up the throw-offs?
Is it you?
It is me and the people that I work with and the company that I represent, the organization. So as those
So with those things that fall off, I'm sorry for interrupting.
yes, Miss Buckets.
Oh, snap.
Oh snap!
I'm just curious because
Absolutely,
maybe my
please.
idea would change.
Well, it is a debate.
What are you doing with those things that fall off? You're keeping them for yourself, right?
Oh no, I'm disposing of those things. See, we can't have lots of rickety old fenders laying on the sides of the roads. Those have to be put in the proper sanitation areas around town. And
Now,
No free assets.
just a quick interjection here. Couldn't those certain items that were just slightly damaged, though, couldn't they be repaired and replaced or given back
See,
to
that's
the
what-
people? For
Or
me,
used
it
for your
seems-
personal
I mean,
benefit.
I mean, I just live in a bunker with a raccoon and a smelly dude, but no offense, SOS.
I mean, I'll decide on how I feel about that later.
But, I mean, weekly showers, I mean,
I-
is what it is. I'm not saying I smell great, but, Anyway, I just feel like using having product that is just slightly damaged, tossing it in an incinerator or whatever you do with it. Not that I know your practices, it feels like a waste to me. So that's what my question is to you. Do you do it with all products or just the ones that are beyond repair? And if you do it with just the ones beyond repair, what do you do with those other products?
well, the ones that are beyond repair, I will be honest and say that I melt them down and use them to board up my doors while I'm gone at work so that all of my belongings stay where they're supposed to stay.
That's practical.
In my home. Now, the other items that can be repaired, there are certain things that we can do with those. I like to donate certain items to the homeless shelter because if you are homeless, then you're gonna need a roof over your head, and Well, it doesn't matter if that roof is made of tin or if that roof is made of things that have fallen from the undercarriage of a truck. If there's a roof over your head, you are safe and you are protected. Do you sometimes get little rust crumbles dropping onto your head and into your mouth while you're trying to sleep and snoring? Yeah, that might happen every now and then. But for the most part, those people are protected from the elements, such as the rain or the snow or other scientific words that describe things that fall from the sky.
I believe rust is an element.
That's right. Rust
It
is an
is.
element. It's on the periodic table.
of... Oh, hey there.
the post-apocalyptic periodic table.
Yes.
It's changed since the original days.
It's got like 5 and rust is 1.
I
Now-
believe, yes, the other 4 are other variations of rust.
That's right. That's right. Just different forms of rust,
all about
different
rust.
means of rust. Now that's a good transition. You talked about building small structures for homeless people, homeless shelters, etc. So good transition into building regulations. Should there be building regulations put in place? If I want to go dig up a hole and put a bunker in there, or if I want to start putting in a shed or a garage for my car that doesn't currently work, but maybe over some time I can fix it up and get it working, who knows? Whatever the case, should there be building permits required, or do you have to call, what is it, 311 or whatever? To find, or
411's
411?
information.
Yeah, see if there's
511.
some sort of line underneath
Not
your
911.
property. Definitely not 911.
Or
That
if you're
won't
British,
get it.
999.
That's right. Wait, don't call 999?
Well, if you're German, also 999, because...
No, no, no!
No. You
That's
should
right.
not call that number.
So, Maskin Robbins, what are your thoughts on building permits? Should we reinstigate them? I mean, currently it's a free-for-all. If you want a piece of land and put something on it, it's all you.
Right. Well, if you want a piece of land or a piece of assets, then all you have to do is just go find an area and go find the materials and just build. Frankly, that could help me out in the long run because, well, if I'm restructuring my house, as I mentioned before, then I could just put up that scrap metal around my house. If I were to build on land that was not my own, then that might be where the issue would lie. But I think that a building permit is not necessarily necessary as long as you are being respectful of your boundaries.
Interesting. See, now the Sanitation Union, to my belief, was that they believed that the permits were necessary because they wanted to make sure that you were building in the way that they saw fit, because they knew best. They knew that how safe it was, and they care about our safety. So has that changed, or are you just a little more liberal on that idea?
On that specific idea, I would say I'm a little more liberal. As long as you are building something in a way that it won't infect or affect the environment, maybe the structure itself is not the issue, but the materials you are using. If you're coating things with iron oxide, which is the scientific name for the chemical rust,
Yes.
ladies, just to educate you slightly on the topic. No sexism intended, just you're not as intelligent as most.
You can shut your mouth now.
Absolutely. I will take that as a good, solid piece of advice.
So when do we cut him out?
So thank you. He hasn't interrupted you yet. So what do you ladies think about building regulations? Nay, yay?
I have no thoughts. I have
Hey.
no brain cells.
Catherine, you can. It's
I'm angry.
just
She's angry.
This is a debate.
She's angry.
Things happen.
Things happen that should not have happened.
He wasn't you.
Nope.
He wasn't sexism. I believe. I think it was just because you
He doesn't
are
know
the
what
only
it
two,
was.
and you both are like. He said no sexism.
Whatever the case, how do you feel about building permits?
Anywho, I hate permits. I think that the government needs to leave me alone.
Sure, tell it how you feel it.
It's all you.
Because then they're getting into my business. Like when I want to build a new pottery shop, I want to be able to build it wherever I want.
Sure.
And if it happens to be on, what's your name again?
Maskin Robbins.
Maskin Robbins' piece of land, because I didn't know it was actually a home, then I'm going to build a pottery shop on his piece of land that has a piece of metal on it. I don't need a permit.
All
I'm
right.
sorry to offend you because you look angry, but that's just how I think. I am trying to be successful, and I want everybody in this wasteland to have Katherine Kowbell all over them. So, not literally. Sorry. Anywho, I make lots of products. I have lots of assets.
That's great. That's
And,
Lizzy?
and would you say that you often have your assets all over everybody? Because that is
I have a big
frankly
name.
inappropriate.
I have a big name. Okay? So people come into my shop and they know what they want. And so,
Sure, your name is 9 letters.
That's right.
It's a big name.
thank you.
That's not even
for
counting
counting.
a middle name.
Mine's,
We don't even
Right.
know what that
mine's
is.
3.
Nope, I'm not telling you my
All
middle
right,
name.
that's okay. Well, whatever the case, Lizzy
Thank you.
Lizard. So Raiders, there's a lot of them that move around. They don't even have physical buildings that they really put up.
I've
Sometimes they
seen
put up
some of the
tents.
ratings building.
There
not
but there
one of
are
them.
others that do put up bases. How do the Raiders feel about, or the Raider Party rather, the idea of being told whether or not they can build stuff in certain places?
I think it's trash.
Fair enough.
Which is what my department is entirely dedicated to cleaning
We
up.
don't need that comment. I believe that we should not have, to be told where we can build and not build things. We might not have, permanent dwellings, but, we do set up shop so that we can, take coverage from the elements, or we can take coverage from the Rona roamers. And, if I want to build it on Maskin Robbins' lawn, I should be able to do that in order to stay protected.
Oh wow!
All
We
right,
actually
well.
had applause from one of the other candidates. That's
So
It was me.
a few
It wasn't
different-
buckets.
A few different
Opinions.
ideas. Yeah, I think obviously the 2 closest were definitely going to be Katherine and Lizzy. Maskin Robbins, obviously, with the different one, just being with the Sanitation Union, not to be expected. But he was more liberal on the idea than what we expected him to be.
That's right.
So I will say that's pretty impressive.
Now we have somebody here that's actually an expert in this next topic from a almost licensed perspective. So it'll definitely be interesting to get everybody's opinion on this. Next topic is masks. Should they be mandated by the governing body that everybody must wear them in public? Yay or nay? Let's start with Katherine Kowbell.
Yeah, I feel
She's
like-
staring pretty intensely at me.
Opinion on this.
Well, I hate it when people tell me what to do. So, I say if you find a cute mask, wear it. If you can't find a mask that works for you, then don't wear one. Because really, do we have proof that they help or don't help? I mean, I don't think so. Do we?
Well, this might be the best time to turn to the resident expert, Maskin Robbins himself.
I mean,
Well,
yeah, please tell.
the proof I have that the masks
Is in your name?
do indeed work is that I have worn a mask since the very first day when there was a threat. And see, I'm
danger.
What is the danger? I'm wearing my mask, so I'm safe from the danger, but I'm worried about the rest of you. See, when I wear my mask, it is not only to protect myself from all of the elements, but also to protect myself from the non-elements.
And the elements from yourself.
Four
correct.
elements that are rust.
The 4 elements.
Rust light, rust heavy, rust extra.
Rust water, rust earth,
And
rust
rust
air, and rust
lime.
fire.
Rust fire.
I'm sure all of those
Rust
all of
bender.
those would cause rust in some form or fashion if you think about it.
Which reminds me,
Well, all those needed.
the only business left that has anything available for children to play with, Toys R Us. None of the employees were wearing said masks when I was in there shopping for something for my young child, and that frankly caused me to leave immediately without acquiring anything for my child. So, do I think that masks should be worn? Absolutely.
Have you provided this Toys R Us with masks?
I give them all of the scrap metal that I find on the road, and
And
tell,
that's supposed to protect you?
well, it's
I
better
thought
than
you said your masks are supposed to protect you from the elements.
How are you supposed to breathe through a rusted piece of metal?
well, that's when you can put the purification system and just transplant it into that. Would you say that a piece of metal on your face is more or less protective than a piece of nothing on your face?
A piece of nothing.
All right, I have an idea.
Agree, no, piece of nothing, because if we're supposed to be protecting ourselves from those elements, I mean, that rust is a piece of element, and if you're putting it on your face, like, hello.
I'm sorry, I should clarify. I only give the best, least rust infected
And where do you find this?
scrap metals.
So
Well,
you're keeping them.
here,
You're hoarding them.
there, and everywhere.
So you're
Right.
hoarding them.
All right. Let's hear from our residential scientist.
That wasn't the right part of the word to cut me off on.
all right,
because
all
it
right,
just made
all
it seem
right.
like I called her a very derogatory name.
I'm sure they'll understand. All right, let's hear from a resident scientist, Anthony. Anthony, what do you think about these scrap metal masks? Well, you heard it from Anthony himself. It's a good answer, Anthony.
Except
Correct me,
his mask is on his eyes, not on his mouth.
You know,
But he is wearing it.
so
Always. He never takes his off, just like me.
it's in the power
I've
of the
seen
mask.
him wear him as pants once before. That was interesting.
That was interesting.
how did that happen?
He attached one end to his tail and then the other end.
To his not tail, opposite
right.
end.
Did you say nut tail?
Not tail, but there was also a knot in his tail.
Yes.
I thought you said nut.
No.
Could
No, I
not.
did not.
Could not.
Raiders. How do Raiders feel about masks? Lizzy Lizard.
Well, I've not worn one since day one. And I'm over here thriving, you know? I'm living my best life. Defending myself from the Rona roamers. I'm not worrying about anything on my face. I'm not worried about breathing any dust particles.
And she does not have maskne. She's got a perfect complexion.
Now, many Raiders groups will actually define themselves by their mask. They'll put specific colors or a specific design on their mask to kind of differentiate them from the next raiding group. I mean, so this necessarily, I suppose, wouldn't be regulated, but it would be allowed, obviously. But is that-
Obviously. I mean, I don't think that we need to be telling people what they can and can't do. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you should not be forced to wear one.
All right, well, that's pretty straightforward.
I think we've seen both sides of the argument
Definitely.
here today. So
Maybe even three sides.
I think we've heard it, not seen it.
that's true.
Now, here's
that's
something
true.
that we haven't talked about at all. Definitely something way different than everything else. I'm interested to see their opinions on this.
Well, we talked about it on the podcast.
Well, that's true, but we haven't talked about it as far as
Here.
in here at all. You know, some of this other stuff we talked about as far as regulation stuff. I mean, all this stuff. You know, mask regulations. Building, vehicle. You know, there's a lot of stuff that kind of has some overlap, but this is completely different. Shake it up a little bit. A little more fun for everybody. Super powered individuals. All right. So with the rise of these individuals with strange powers in the post-apocalyptic world, should these individuals be given the same rights as other survivors, or should they have rules and regulations placed on them just because of their superpowers? If so, what sorts of rules and regulations? Maskin Rob.
Well, you see, these individuals with specialized abilities, I wouldn't label them as powers because I believe everyone has power within them. However, these special abilities that they possess, I would say that we should let them live their lives as long as they are not negatively affecting others. I believe I mentioned something similar to that earlier. Now, if they are benefiting the people around them with the use of these special abilities, then I'm all for them being allowed to walk around in the common population. If they are using their abilities to detriment others or to hurt them in any way, they can gladly move on and move to maybe where the Rona roamers are, and they can test out their abilities on creatures who don't feel.
Interesting.
That's interesting that he mentions that because we
Right.
did actually have on the podcast a superpowered individual whose power was to control
Yes,
runner
that's
owners.
very true.
So he happily hangs out with them currently. All right, perfect. Lizzy Lizard, there are some that would say that there are rumors that you, in fact, have strange powers, potentially. Some say that you have some sort of influence over raider groups. Some say that the name Lizzy Lizard isn't ironic. It's literal to mean that you're able to turn into some sort of lizard person or something like that. Nobody's really sure whether or not you're willing to release that information on this presidential debate because you feel it may affect your polls in one way or another. maybe, who knows? Whatever the case, how do you feel about the superpowered individuals? Should they be regulated? Should they have rules put on them?
I do not feel that we should have any rules or regulations on these said superpowers, super abilities, whatever. I believe with Maskin Robbins, we all have our own strengths and our superpowers within us. I do not think that limiting any of us is very beneficial for the rest of our community.
All right. Well, it sounds like she's in agreement. What about you, Katherine Kowbell? How do you feel about these?
I think they're pretty cool. But as long as, like, my one rule would be that all these superpowers would come to me for super costumes.
Oh, that's fair.
I was literally just about to ask that.
Yeah.
If you have a opinion because of their business with you.
Yes. Other than that, like, I haven't seen them do anything, like, crazy or anything. Like, I feel like they're pretty decent people.
Most of them.
I don't think we all have superpowers inside of us, though.
That's fair. Most of
Sorry
ours
to disagree.
from our interviews have seemed like they are on the outskirts of the apocalypse. Anyway, we haven't seen many, especially super villains, at least be on the inside of the apocalypse. More outskirts type of people.
That's right. That's right. So we got 2 more topics left. We'll go over them pretty quickly here because we are running out of time. Taxes, real quick. Should Rona roamers be taxed, just like everybody else in the post-apocalypse? Since you will be running, if you win the election, this governing body that receives taxes from the people, should Rona roamers be taxed?
They absolutely should. If they're roaming around our wasteland, then they should be taxed.
All right. Maskin Robbins?
I think if they tax, then they should be charged a tax.
All right. All right. And Lizzy Lizard, any opinions on your end?
How are we going to tax the Rona roamers? Is my question.
I think the people would ask you the same question if you were in charge.
It's a very practical question. I'm asking Robbins, do you have an idea of how to tax the Rona roamers and what you tax them on?
I would say that most Rona roamers, before they became the Rona roamers, were individuals and human people just like us. And unless they've been cleaned out completely by, say, I don't know, somebody who might take stuff that doesn't belong to them, then there might still be some money in their wallets or in their pockets or somewhere. They might have valuables like wristwatches or pocket watches or something of that matter. So if they still have the belongings that they had when they were still alive, then who's to say that we cannot tax them with the items that they currently still carry on their possession?
Now, do you feel like that would pose any danger? Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, do you feel that would pose any danger to potential tax collectors you may have working for you who would approach these Rona roamers and try to frisk some items out of their pockets?
Well, I would say that perhaps if I were to be chosen or elected to run this great nation, I would be able to supply sanitation items such as the squeezy trigger handle claw things, and people, the tax collectors, so to speak, would be able to, from a safe distance, squeeze their triggers and close those claws within the pockets of the Rona roamers.
Okay, all right.
And therefore not face any danger.
Sure, all right. Lizzy, you had something you wanted to add.
Any rebuttal to the squeezy claws?
Yes, anything to say on the squeezy claws?
If I were to put it into law, that's what I would call it, the squeezy claws, CLAUSE.
Yes.
Perfect.
Squeezy claws.
You know, I just find it funny that you are discriminating against me and my fellow raiders. However, you want to take some of our own practices to get these taxes from the Rona roamers. You
Oh,
also want
snap.
to chase them out of town, and Rusty Bucket said we should just kill them all. If you want to tax these Rona roamers and you're considering them as actual people, why are we chasing them out? Or why are we killing them? That would be a mass genocide.
Quick rebuttal, Maskin.
Yes, first of all, I'll let Rusty Buckets talk about that. Oh, wait, he's gone. Now, I will address that if we run them out of town, unfortunately, we will not be able to tax them as if they were citizens of our land that we share. So if they did remain, if my desires were to be opposed and they did remain among us, then they absolutely should be taxed as citizens. However, if they leave, then they are no longer citizens and no longer apply for the taxation.
Interesting.
Are you going to give them the same rights as the rest of the citizens if they do stay?
I will allow them to express their desires. I will present them with a question, and if they can answer it to a certain level of appropriate understandability, then I will allow them to stay.
It's like the test.
However, I will not accept moans or grunts or groans as proper words.
What about the rest of the community who cannot speak?
Can they write?
I don't know if they were able to go find a school or be taught by somebody in these trying times. It's debatable whether they can speak efficiently to you.
I would then hire some form of investigatory services to determine whether someone is incapable of speech, or if they are a Rona Roamer, or if they are illiterate, or once again a Rona Roamer. So these detectives who would be investigating would be able to tell the difference between the brain dead and just the dead.
Wow, definitely some interesting heat building
Yeah,
up between the
I
Sanitation
agree.
Union party representative and the Raider Rights Party representative. Always exciting to have those two in the same room.
It's very
For sure.
true. Definitely usually polar opposites.
Absolutely. All right, final topic for the night, and then we might get a couple questions in from the audience. Animal rights. So Lizzy Lizard, obviously being a snake fanatic, is going to definitely appreciate this question. Specifically in the topic of the raccoons, which we know have kind of developed an almost...
Did you say raccoons?
That's right. What? What did I say?
Nothing. It's fine, I'm sure.
Okay.
Raccoons.
Raccoons. As we know, raccoons have developed... That's right. Raccoons have developed an impressive level...
I'm out!
An impressive level of intelligence and capability to the point where they are almost equal, if not equal, as we know from Anthony, to human capabilities and intelligence. So, as we've asked about Rona Roamers, as we've asked about rating groups and such like that, should they be treated with the same rights and responsibilities as everyday other survivors like you and I, Sly? Lizzy, as somebody that's a big fan of animals, should raccoons be treated like people with their enhanced intelligence?
Also, how's your snake?
Yeah,
She's doing lovely, you know, she's grown extra large, living her best life. You might see a little bit, you know.
Has she grown huge? Has she grown huge? Huge.
She was already huge, so I would guess the answer to that question is yes. You may also be expecting some little ones here pretty soon. Because while I don't need no man, apparently she did.
Ayo.
And where someone failed at getting a man, she did not.
Oh.
I would not call that a failure. I have been living my own independent life, and I would say it's pretty great not being tied down to anybody. Going back to the debate question of having raccoons having the same
Rights and
Rights.
responsibility.
I would say, you know, yeah, they can have their own rights and their own responsibilities. But I would also extend that to as long as any creature, raccoon or not, could have, you know, show that they are on the same level as us, they should be able to live, you know, their life and have their own independency as well.
All right. Katherine, do you have anything what is your stance on this?
I think it's weird to have an animal have their own rights. I mean, they're animals. I have nothing against them. I mean, I love your snake. I've never seen him, but he sounds cute. Or she. She's a she. She's pregnant. But as far as them having rights, I just think, like, an animal is not the same as me.
All right. Fair enough. Maskin Robbins, how does the Sanitation Union feel about animal rights?
I believe animals should have rights, but not the same rights as the humans. So I wouldn't say that the horses that the couriers use to deliver things, by the way, for example, should have certain voting rights unless they are planning to vote for me, and then I completely rescind that statement.
So are you saying
Fair
they
enough.
can't vote yay or nay?
That is precisely what I'm hinting at and wish I would have thought of before you did. So animals should have rights, but maybe not the same rights that we have. I believe the animals should have the right not to be mistreated or abused or neglected, or maybe if the horse doesn't want to be ridden on, maybe it can just kind of say that it doesn't want to be ridden on.
All right.
Okay, well, when you say it like that, I totally agree.
Oh, okay.
So animals do deserve rights, just not like us
Sure, sure.
humans.
So in response
That's a good
to the
way of
question,
putting it.
with raccoons-
Maskin? Maskin, mobbins?
Close enough.
Bobbins?
Hobbins.
Mary
Okay,
Poppins.
Maskin. Yes.
All right. So in the context of raccoons, no to human level rights, but definitely having rights of their own as animals. Understood. All right. Awesome. So that covers all the main topics. We're now going to ask a couple questions, or a couple of the audience asking questions. Yes, you right there.
Mr. Robbins, what's your favorite color?
I would say my favorite color is squeaky clean green.
Okay,
And you, ma'am, are, may I say, are quite
I'm a boy.
ravishing. Whoa.
I'm a real boy.
What you misunderstood what I said. I said that you should participate in radish eating
Oh, okay.
because
That's what I heard.
that will help you grow from a woman-sounding little boy into a masculine man.
Now I'm gonna sit back down now.
Masculine man.
This is for all you guys out there. What are you gonna do about China?
Thank you, Kermit the Frog. I do like China. I believe that everyone should access to something more than paper plates to eat their dinner off of.
All right. Anybody else? There was a question for all three of you. So anybody else have what are you going to do about China? I believe was the question. Was that right?
Yeah, that was right.
Well, I mean, their stuff, their name is written basically on everything I own in my home. So made in China. So China should have rights. So
Sure. If that's how you feel about it, sure.
So so far we have paper plates and rights. Lizzy Lizard. Any answer from you on what are you going to do about China?
What is there to do about China?
That's the question. What are you going to do about it?
I guess I don't feel like I know where this question is going. Like, what are you trying to get us to say?
So he has seemed to leave. I don't know why he would ask the question and leave. Goodbye, Kermit.
Well, he's gone. I
He's-
mean,
yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I guess the what I assume, we don't really know a lot about China. We have some hacking data in the COVID-19, the coronavirus issue. But other than that, because of their hackers and kind of their blocking stuff, we really don't know much about them. So what are you going to do about China?
get better defense.
Okay, that's fair.
play better defense. Sports ball.
Sports ball.
All right.
China, the country.
Well, I mean, we can only assume.
Oh, I have more than just paper plates at my house. Still, China, the country. I think we should be friends with everyone, especially forces that may or may not be as strong or stronger than us at this certain juncture in time.
All right.
I thought they were talking about like the plates and the dishes. I feel so stupid.
I know.
That's all right. All right. Next question. What do we got, sir? All right. Step up to the mic here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Lizzy Lizard. What are you doing on Friday night?
Lizzy, you care to respond?
Don't answer that.
I believe I said earlier that I don't need no man.
All right,
fair
sir.
enough.
Sorry, you're gonna have to leave.
All right, we
Thank
do
you.
have one more question. They're in the back.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about desserts? And what's your favorite one? That's to all of you. Fine, Just answer the question.
Oh, okay. All right, sir. All right.
What are your favorite desserts?
All right. Calm down. No need to get angry. What are your favorite desserts, everybody?
I
Please
don't know
answer
why
his question.
what this has to do with a political debate.
That's important.
All right, all
Okay,
right,
take the
all
mic
right,
away
all
from
right,
her, please.
all right. Oh, it was a her. Okay.
I mean,
I
I kind of
guess
like
so dirty.
sweets. So, obviously not cupcakes because that business as well, you know. I like chocolate chip cookies.
Okay.
Solid
Does
choice.
that mean that you're not going to vote for me if I don't pick your favorite dessert?
We took the mic away from her. Yeah, we.
Okay. Please.
Okay, all right.
Marge Simpson over there.
I guess to answer the question, my favorite dessert is dark chocolate, and as to
Shut up back there, please. Thank you.
apparently he wants to show me a thing or two.
Maskin Robbins, favorite dessert.
Favorite dessert.
Do you get it at Baskin Robbins?
Copyright protected.
I would say that I have a couple different favorite desserts. I would say that I also love chocolate chip cookies, but you know, they have to be actual chocolate chip cookies and not like oatmeal raisin cookies, because when you're trying to have a chocolate chip cookie kind of day and you bite into it
Surprise.
and it's an oatmeal raisin surprise kind of day, then that's the short end of the stick. I also like fudge and
Watch your language, please. Oh, he said fudge.
I said fudge.
Oh.
I didn't say sludge.
Oh, yeah.
And brownies and a combination of the two, like fudge brownies.
Ooh, sure.
If you mix all of them together,
Decadent.
chocolate chip fudge brownies.
Ooh, triple chocolate. Oh,
Covering
sorry.
all my bases here.
All right. Well, that seems like all the questions that we had. That's all the questions that the audience seems to have had.
I feel
so-
like that's all the question we should allow the audience.
That's
to
very
ask.
true. Yeah, I'm regretting that decision very quickly. Also, they really shouldn't be in our studio. It's
Yeah,
so
who
crowded
is that?
in here.
This is good. My goodness.
I think we need to add more filters
Sure. All right.
Yeah, to make our selfies.
because
a
they're
lot
definitely
more-
not even wearing masks.
Oh, those kind of builders.
filter.
like the
So
air filters.
now you have an issue with people
I'm
not
just
wearing masks.
saying, when we're wearing such a small.
Well, thank you for
small
joining us in our
we're in a
presidential
small
debate.
This has
bunker,
been a
and
great
there's only
debate.
like this
Today,
much space.
Thank you,
Little bit
all
quick.
four
even
candidates.
try
I guess there's only three left.
I don't want to
Again,
hear what you
just
have
to
to feel
reiterate
about
who it
this.
was that we had on the show today, we had Lizzy Lizard. She's running as the representative for the Raiders Rights
course.
Party. We had Maskin Robbins running as the representative for the Sanitation Union Party.
The favorite to win.
Katherine Kowbell, who was running for the Free Trade Party, and of course,
If
the
you
one who
vote
was,
for me, I'll give you 10% off of any item.
all right,
purchase.
that's possibly
Thank you.
illegal, but I
that
guess
buying
I
a
don't think.
vote?
that's,
No,
I mean,
it's
we're in
not.
the Coronapocalypse.
It's
Technically,
not.
there's no laws established.
Just
There's no law.
don't vote for buckets.
All right, so keep that in mind. If you do vote for Katherine Kowbell, you do get 10% off of Katherine Kowbell's industry.
And yes, don't forget Rusty Buckets.
And don't forget Rusty.
No, do forget him.
2/3 of the vote. We want to make sure we represent all parties.
That's right.
I
He-
myself am trying to win this election, but if you vote for any of the other candidates, doesn't even have to be me, instead of Rusty Buckets, I will give you 10% off of anything in Miss Cowbell's store.
Thank you.
just-
Yes,
just
I
to-
would.
let's
I
see.
will. I verify that.
Do you
I
have
approve that
20% off now.
message.
Would that be 20% off?
Miss-
It would be.
Miss Lizard? Do you
Lizard.
have anything?
Lizard
to,
Lizzy.
Do you have anything to respond to that?
Lizzy
before we go?
Lizard.
Yeah, do you have any final statements you'd like to make?
Well, I mean, if you vote for me, I won't raid from you.
Oh.
Wow, that might be worth more than 20%.
And that's how you
just so
got
know.
Maskin Robbins vote.
Yes, I will be voting for you and keeping
His
my
eyes
belongings.
got real big when she said that.
So
That's right.
you have a lot to think about out there in
right.
the Coronapocalypse.
So again, make sure to check us out on our Facebook page, or as we call it, our bunker. You can vote there for your candidate. We'd love to see what you have to say.
But Lizzie did just say I, not all of the Raiders won't steal from you. So
That
just
is
keep that in
an
mind.
interesting point. That is
And
an
I would give
interesting
all
point.
of you 10% off. All of you.
Very important distinctions there. All right, so yeah, make sure to check out the Facebook page. You can vote there. We'd love to see who ends up getting elected. Obviously, this is very important. We'll be running this for probably maybe at least a weekend, if not a week, for these polls. Again, this is the post-apocalyptic world. We don't have all this stuff established yet. Make sure to check us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartMedia, pretty much anywhere that podcasts can be found. Obviously, we want to get this information out to everybody, so if you're the only one with a radio in your house, make sure to bring your friends over and they can listen too. Also, definitely make sure to Subscribe and follow us on whichever network it is that you prefer to listen to us on.
Respond to our polls so you
That's right.
have your voice heard. That's
That's
the best way to have your voice heard.
And if you haven't already gotten spammed about this election yet, consider this us additionally spamming you about it. Additionally, make sure to drop us a review if you are on iTunes. We'd love to hear from you, hear about your post-apocalyptic experience, hear about what you'd like to hear on the show next. This has been the season finale for season... What are we on? 2?
2? Wow, that's like twice as much as 1.
That is twice as much as 1. So this is the big finale. We will probably be taking by at least a short break before we jump up into season 3. Got something really exciting planned for season 3. We think that you're all going to love it. So definitely keep an ear out for that.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's right. And election day.
That too.
Yep. And happy Halloween.
Thanksgiving.
That's my... Yep.
Probably not
And
Easter.
any other holiday or special event
Yes.
that happens between now and the next time you listen to this.
Thank you, Matt.
Star Wars holiday special.
Charlie
Charlie Brown.
Wasn't that? Isn't that May the 4th?
I don't know. Anyways, all right. Thank you all for listening. This has been the big finale for season 2 of
The Apocalypse Bros.